What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about Scream 7 in this video here today. Mostly going to be discussing the AI stuff and if Sidney Prescott is being dumbed down for this to work. This is all being inspired by my latest community post. If you've seen those posts, you know what I'm talking about. As many of us have been seeing online, Sidney Prescott is expected to fall victim to AI in some capacity during the events of this upcoming film in her new hometown of Pine Grove. The biggest contribution to this angle so far is seemingly going to be Matthew Lillard, who is returning as Stu Macher to taunt Sidney Prescott, who for right now is expected to remain dead, I would say, in regards to Stu Macher. A few of you have made it clear to me that you are not vibing with this angle completely because you find it dumb for several valid reasons, and I just want to talk about it in this video and share my thoughts on where I still stand with it. Sidney is supposed to believe that Stu is alive, which is what I've addressed before on my Twitter page if you follow me there. And Gale, according to another user on Twitter named Jude, who has been spot on with some recent posts he's made, claims Gale is not buying this angle. Gale isn't the only one not buying it, though, because from what I know, Mark isn't either. So what you guys have shared with me is that this angle for Sidney believing Stu is alive comes off a bit dumb because she was the one who killed him, and she's not unfamiliar when it comes to Ghostface using advanced technology, since we've used this in Scream 3. You got the training wheels version, you could say, in Scream 3. Those are both very valid reasons to be concerned about Sidney Prescott being dumbed down. And my other addition to that list is that it can come off like she's just never been exposed to AI, which isn't correct based off the events in Scream 3. And even post Scream 3, given the climate we're in, it just seems a bit absurd that Sidney Prescott is not familiar with how real AI can be. So I get where you guys are coming from there. It's also a bit interesting that Gale and Mark are the ones who don't believe it, and the person who killed Stu does. That's very interesting. But I still don't think this is dumbing Sidney down completely just yet, or even at all. I'll get to the big reason why, but we don't know how far they're even taking this Stu is alive angle. Will we get an empty grave a la Bethany Young at the start of Pretty Little Liars Season 3 for my PLL fans out there? You know what I'm talking about. What exactly is going to be going on in these videos that makes Sidney forget her logical side for a moment? So much more context is needed before I also join you all in saying that Sidney is being dumbed down for us to believe this angle. I think I'll end up buying it mostly because it's supposed to be short-lived. That's what I will share in this video. That angle is supposed to be short-lived. At some point in the movie, characters are supposed to accept that it's AI, and then it shifts into, well, who is responsible for these videos? Now, if it were being prolonged and dragged through all the 3 acts, then yeah, I'd say Sidney Prescott is an idiot. You've dumbed her down to sell this narrative. What the hell was Kevin Williamson thinking? What the hell was Guy Busick thinking? What the hell was Neve Campbell thinking? But I don't think they're going to be prolonging it over 3 acts. It's supposed to be a very short-lived stint, and then Sidney gets brought back down to reality. If she had countless bits of evidence shown to her to prove that it's not Stu and kept saying that he's alive, then yes, Sidney Prescott is an idiot. We have a final girl who's a dumbass on our hands, and that's just a disservice to the character. Thankfully, the alleged plan is for, again, all of these characters at some point, they will accept that it's AI, and it becomes a game of which of these newbies, or even the returning star, because it could always be a returning star, which of these individuals are doing this to Sidney Prescott. And I realize that the short stint, even that in of itself, might still be unbelievable to some fans. But all of us have let our emotions get the better of us at some point and let it cloud our logic. Sidney Prescott can be no different. So Sidney falling for this stuff, or let's say half of an act, should suffice, because then Gale and Mark will just bring her back down to reality. And again, that's what the plan is on paper from what has been shared with me. She's likely going to be juggling around all these different alternate outcomes for Stu due to how convincing these videos are. And that's okay as long as she doesn't stay like that for the entire film. And as of now, the good news is that's allegedly not the plan. But if you still think that the AI stuff is dumb, and Sidney even buying it for the short period of time that she's supposed to is dumb, explain that to me a bit further down in the comment section below. The other thing that I'm concerned with the AI, I think I'm more concerned about this that I don't see enough people talking about. How is this stuff going to look? Like, I just have a lot of, this is just hyperbole, but trauma from those AI calls that we got in the final season of Pretty Little Liars. Those look terrible. I don't want to see anything like that with Matthew Lillard or any of these people in Scream 7. How's the presentation of these AI calls going to be? If they come off cartoonish, that's going to take us out of the entire experience. And granted, they're probably not going to do that, but you never know. We could see a film and look at these AI video calls and they look so fake to us, and then they're trying to tell me that this woman watching them thinks they're real. There's no way I would buy that. So hopefully the calls, if we see these videos, look convincing to not only the character, but also us as the audience member who's supposed to be buying that she thinks it's real. Because if the video looks like AI and it just looks completely fake and off-putting to us as viewers, that's going to derail the entire angle you're going with. And it is going to kind of make Sidney Prescott look dumb, because the presentation isn't even convincing to me as the audience member. So hopefully how they tackle Matthew Lillard's inclusion as these AI FaceTime calls or whatever he's going to be doing, the voice stuff, hopefully it is portrayed in a very believable way that you will not be taken out of the experience of the film. Because if they want to commentate on AI, you got to present it in a quality way. You cannot present it to us the way we got in Pretty Little Liars Season 7. A lot of people might not get that reference. If you haven't seen Pretty Little Liars Season 7, don't worry, you're not missing anything. It's a terrible final season to a show. But again, as of now, the plan is for Sidney Prescott's believing of Stu Macher being alive to be bookend, middle of the movie. It's not going to be prolonged. And then the narrative will shift into figuring out which of the characters are the ones responsible for these calls. And the Woodsboro PD might be involved in helping this. I will share that too. That's all I will state. There's also something that's supposed to transpire in Woodsboro that's very important that could lend itself to why Sidney is believing that Stu is alive. So with so many other things we have to wait for in terms of context, I don't think that Sidney's being dumbed down. You have to wait for the overall execution, wait for some more context, and then I might join you all in saying that, yeah, you made our final girl look like a complete blithering idiot for this half-assed story about AI. The other thing I wanted to share is that once it's all said and done and everybody in the film knows they're dealing with AI, you can expect Sidney Prescott to start behaving in a capacity that is very believable to the character. That, again, is just what I've had shared with me. It comes across very Sidney Prescott-like. She's going to have her guard up. She's going to be cutting off certain people, and it does align with the character. So they're not going to be prolonging this AI thing and her just being like the entire film, oh, Stu is alive, and have her running around like an idiot. That's not what the plan is, and that's a good thing. And once she has that in her mind that it's AI and she realizes that, she's going to start behaving in a way that is overprotective and harkens back to why there might be some tension between her and Tatum. But you guys let me know what you think about all of this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links to all my social media accounts. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.